Jensen Cyberland coming back to you with another game review. And this time we are on Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. So, my history with this game was that it was originally released on the PSP, and I was just like, it was another situation where I was just annoyed with Squaresoft at the time, because I'm just like, or it's Square Enix, I just call them Squaresoft. Because it was a thing of like, come on, man, like, why do you guys keep porting these stories to different... I was like, I shouldn't have to play all these games that are pivotal to the story on different systems. It's just like, what the fuck? So it was just another chain of memory situation. So I was just like, whatever, I don't even care. Like, I don't think I've even talked about this before, but I kind of checked out with Kingdom Hearts because of that. I was just tired of the games not being on a specific system, and then finally when they were, I didn't even have a PlayStation at that point. I had checked out after 2 because of the controversy behind PS3 and what they had chose to do with the customers screwing them over in price points and stuff. But, then this came out where it was a full set for the PS4, and I was like, well, now I can play it. So, this game is 10 years before Kingdom Hearts, and it follows 3 characters, Terra, Ventus, and Aqua. And pretty much they are going through these different areas, different parts of the world or the cosmos, Disney World, and meeting different characters and stuff. And they're gradually helping whoever needs help, such as what Ventus just did here, trying to help out one of the dwarves. But in the process, they're noticing these things that are trying to attack them. They're not called Heartless yet, but you can pretty much get an idea of what that. They're obviously some creation of some sort. And you have one guy, Terra, who wants to be the best of the best. Aqua's kind of like the best of the best, because she keeps her emotions in check, whereas Terra doesn't, which is very interesting, because you would think like all his training and everything that's been bestowed upon him. And then Ventus is just kind of like in the middle of everything. He's not as powerful as the other two, even though he wants to be. He wants to be given that kind of prestige. He tries to strive for it. At the same time, we learn about Mickey and what he was in at the time before. I don't think he was even king yet when this came out. But as you can see, Donald and Goofy make an appearance. Also the kids, Sora, Riku, Kairi, even some characters of Organization 13, and you pretty much get an introduction of who they were and how it alludes to how they became part of Organization 13. So I felt the story was very pivotal, very, very important. Because this is Radiant Garden before what it became. Look how it looks. It's beautiful. It's structured properly. It's not all torn up and stuff. And playing this game, you see, even though I don't like what Square did with releasing it on a different port, but I gotta respect them for being consistent with the story and detail. They definitely stick to that. So, I feel the story. So basically, this game is like playing Sora but cut up into 3 different people. It's like when you, and I'm pretty sure that was the intention, because when you play each one has their strengths and weaknesses. Whereas Sora, the more he leveled up, the more time he spent with them, he was having less weaknesses and more strengths. Whereas unfortunately, these guys, that's not the case. And now when I think about it, I think whereas the other games I could level up the character Sora to 100, I had a hard time getting them past, I think, 40. I think Terra's I was able to get to 80 only because where he could level up. But everybody else, it was just like once I got to like the 40s, I was just like, okay, this is not going to work. It's doable, but at this point, I'm just like, let me finish the game. And I think they did that on purpose to kind of say that these guys were great, but they weren't what was going to be the second coming kind of thing with Sora. I also feel the more and more I play these games, I feel that this is basically a Star Wars, keep in mind, a Star Wars episode 1 through 6. It's kind of centers around those type of incidents storyline, because this game is like episode 1 through 3, because especially how it ends. It ends where, you know, the good guys lose, and they don't. I don't know if you want to say they lose big, but they lose, and then Kingdom Hearts is pretty much a New Hope. You know, as far as the gameplay, well, I'll get to the gameplay. The music was good. It's the normal Kingdom Hearts thing. There wasn't too many things that was different. As far as the difficulty, it had its moments. There were some times where I was really getting killed. I was like, what the hell? And I was like, well, maybe I should just go level up a little bit. So there were some times of those. It wasn't anything that was too difficult for me for where I was playing it. And I did like that, you know, you come to find out that Pete wasn't always what he appeared. It's just, I think Mickey and Minnie and all the other Disney characters kind of had a hand in him becoming what he became. Because I always looked at it seemed like he wanted to do good, but at least in here, not from the cartoons, but at least in here, it just seems like the people, his own people, just wouldn't give him a chance, or they were always they already had their judgment of him. And it wasn't like one person, it was all of them, to where he just said, screw it, I'm tired of trying to be good, or, you know, you guys already have this disdain towards me anyway, so why don't I just be what I was meant to be, a villain. It's kind of how it came off to me, like when I noticing what he was doing. The other thing is, I really enjoyed this level with Aqua. So now with this part, the meld commands and stuff. In order to increase your abilities, you would have to do what I'm doing here, is combine all these things to get new commands, which you would keep melding together. And the whole purpose was to have your abilities on your character, that HP prize plus. It was stuff like that. Now, I was able to do everybody. I got everybody, and not everybody could have the same abilities. Or not the same abilities, but not everybody could have the same commands. Some special abilities, not everybody, like certain people could have, but everything else was pretty straightforward. My issue with this was just, it was too much. I think what they were trying to go for is to just give you more choices. You don't have to do everything. And maybe that was my issue. I just kind of felt it should have been a little bit more structured, because I just felt like it was, see, as you can see, the abilities, once you learn the ability, then it becomes attached, and that's really what makes you stronger in the game, doing that. But I just felt like it was just too much. Like, for one, playing with one character, it just felt like it was just an overload of stuff. And quite frankly, outside of leveling it, I really didn't use that much of it. Even my abilities, like the ones where I could just do attacks and stuff that weren't magic, I really didn't use too much of it. I really just what would happen is I would do a lot of damage, and then the finisher would come in, and I would just use that. But for the most part, it was just literally just, okay, let me just level up all this stuff, and that's it. Outside of cure and like a couple magic abilities, I really didn't use anything else. Everything else was just whatever. We already went over music, we went over story. So I'm just looking at what I used to do in here. So those things were cool and stuff. Now, in regards to the Mirage place, so you have to do all these things in the Mirage to get the ultimate weapon, which I understand. However, I think they meant well. Yeah, maybe it was just an extra thing for some people, but it was just like, it was, you could do it or could not do it. You know, that's how. See, so as you see right here, Aqua has on her ability Firestorm because of certain things you have equipped that'll cause her to do that ability. So it was stuff like that. But the Mirage place, it was just, I think the only thing I really didn't care for was the board game. I finally learned it, but it was just really, it was not fun to me. It really was a pain in the ass. And I'm just trying to have fun and get through the story and learn everything and call it a day. All this other stuff that you want to throw in here, it's fine, but for me it was just like, I gotta do this just so I can get the ultimate weapon. I don't want to do this. Like it wasn't something where I was just like, yeah, I wanna keep playing cards all day. Like, it was just one of those things where I was just like, I don't want to do this. Do I have to do this? Like, it was just like, this is a drag. But at the same time, you have a choice where do you know, the ultimate weapon, I just got to have it. I can't say would I have beaten the game without it or with it, you know, like what's it? I always figured, hey, I've gotten the ultimate weapon in every single game. Let me do it in here too. That's just kind of how I looked at it. I didn't feel like I need to, like, I can't beat the game without it. I just like, well, I got it in all the other games, so let's do it in here. And when I'm playing Drop Dream Distance, I'll do the same thing. So as you can see here, like, as you keep using your certain powers that are equipped with your characters, they'll do things like these magic abilities. But it just felt it was overwhelming with a lot of this stuff and the magic abilities, what you could do here, what you could do there. It just felt really overwhelming. As far as my rating for this game, I give it an 8 out of 10. Definitely an 8 out of 10. I would give it higher, but I felt there was just too much stuff that really served no purpose. Story wasn't the problem, music wasn't the problem, gameplay wasn't the problem. It just felt like there's just too much stuff, and it doesn't feel like it's necessary. And going through all these magic abilities to get these things that I am only going to use, and the rest of the stuff is going to go in the trash, I just felt like, you know, it felt overcompensating, and it wasn't necessary. See, that ability I just did, I do more of that than I would using some magic. So, you know, but otherwise, it's a pivotal point to the game. It is important to the story to play this game, I would say. And if you don't want to play it, then read up on it, because there's so much stuff in here that is what leads to Kingdom Hearts and moving forward. It's very, very important. So, otherwise, yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Ciao.